Now, when the Tories adopted a tree as their new party logo, David Cameron was accused of trying to out-green the Greens. Labour, too, have been keen to promote their green credentials. And now we're all told we have to wake up to waste and change our lifestyles in response to climate change. So, should MLAs lead by example? We asked three of them, the DUP's Jim Wells, Sinn Féin's Daithí Mackay and the only Green MLA, Brian Wilson, to make a video diary of their personal and political approach to environmental concerns. We'll be hearing from all three in a moment, but first to those video diaries, and we asked an environmental campaigner and a political commentator to also have a look.
I'm Brian Wilson, Green Party MLA for North Down, and the first Green Party MLA to be elected to the Northern Ireland Assembly. The Politics Show have asked me to keep a video diary of the green issues in which I am involved. Since becoming an MLA, I have raised the profile of the environment by introducing a number of motions in this chamber, particularly on climate change and the need for an independent environmental protection agency. We must fight climate change by reducing our consumption of energy. 5 years ago, I installed solar panels. Not only has this helped the planet, but it's also saved me a lot of money.
He is leading by example. We've seen him recycling his waste and picking up his organic vegetables. I suppose it's difficult because we have a form of democracy with a very small opposition, and the Green Party forms part of that very small opposition.
It's all very well for him to stick a solar panel on his roof, but can he get the Finance Minister to restore the funding so everyone can have a solar panel on their roof? Can he influence the way that the electricity supply network buys green energy? No, he can't.
This is our constituency office in Dunloy in North Antrim, and here we have introduced a number of measures to try and ensure that the office is more energy efficient. One of the ways in which we have done that has been supplying to members of the public temperature guides and gives an indicator to the householder whether the temperature is too high or indeed too low.
It's good to see what Daithí is saying there about, for example, renewable energy and low energy light bulbs and so on, and we can see that driven forward through policy. For example, if all the schools and hospitals in Northern Ireland made a commitment to using low energy light bulbs, or indeed if it was possible the administration could ban tungsten filament light bulbs. So we can really see these personal examples become political, and it's about making the transition from the personal to the political.
One of the ways in which we can reduce our carbon footprint is by changing the way that we travel to work every day. A number of Sinn Féin members who work at the Assembly are already taking part in a car sharing scheme, and this is not unique.
He has actually brought initiatives to his constituents, low energy light bulbs and thermostat controls and so on. That was fair enough. The main problem I would have with Mr Mackay's position is all the low energy light bulbs in the world aren't going to make up for his opposition to nuclear energy. He's promising an all-Ireland campaign against new reactors in Britain. We're going to be using that electricity. That's what's going to allow us not to strip mine his constituency for lignite, for example. And I think
Newton and I are not going to see eye to eye on this issue. Nuclear is the energy that was too cheap to be metered, and look, it's costing billions. And when you bring in the decommissioning costs, nuclear is not the answer.
You've got a controversy here. I'm not sure that nuclear is the answer either. But we're not even asking.
I think we can agree that renewables are the answer. And what we have seen recently, we've seen Peter Robinson do a U-turn on a commitment by Peter Hain to make mandatory renewables in all new homes, and Nigel Dodds has also cut a grant to make renewables more affordable in existing homes.
Fortunately for us, our council have an excellent recycling system. We've got the green bin where all our newspapers go, and I read a lot of those. Lots of material from the Assembly and from the District Council that I sit on.
Jim Wells is in a very interesting position in Northern Ireland politics. He has set himself up as the Green member of the DUP at the same time as the DUP is becoming ever more shameless in revealing that it is a party of business, development, low regulation, that those are where its priorities lie. I think he would need to watch that he doesn't become political cover for a PR exercise.
A house with 3 children, including a teenage daughter, and I have to say I sometimes get up their nose by constantly going round and switching off appliances which are not being used.
It's funny to look at these politicians who came from our local councils, which really only can collect the bins, still obsessing over the bins. I know that the Greens say that you've got to think global and act local, and we saw those MLAs doing that there, but they have to do more than that. They are our MLAs as well, and there are some things that need to be coordinated by government. It's not realistic for us all to keep chickens and put a wind turbine or a solar panel on our roof. We need large systems, energy systems, waste systems, transport systems to be planned by government and delivered to us. We can't deliver them by ourselves.
I think in Daithí Mackay, Jim Wells and Brian Wilson, you have three exceptions really. I think there's a long way to go really for our parties, and I suppose, I mean, they're emerging from many, many years of conflict, but we've got to really look to the future. And as the world gears up to deal with the challenge not just of climate change but also of peak oil as our oil supplies are depleting, you know, they've really got to catch the wave. They've got to sort of sniff the air and see that things are changing, and they've got to be prepared to modernise our economy for the future.
Up the Greens.